Okay, guys, so we're gonna replace this caliper. I did take off these two bolts. What I want to do here is I'm gonna put these two bolts for the caliper back because there's a bolt prior to that. This I want to loosen up. Okay, so okay, it's gonna be tough to get these babies in there because it's like pressure back. Anyways, I just want to put them a little bit in, catch one or two threads if I can do so. So the reason why I'm doing this is because there's a reason for this. So what I want to do is, first of all, see this bolt, once you have everything loose, it's going to be hard to take off. So what you want to do is you want to turn this baby counterclockwise, loosen it up, and just snug it right back so it doesn't leak out. That's step number one. Next step, get yourself a wise grip. A lot of people will say, you crazy, you shouldn't have done that, he all screwed it up. But freaking dealer does it. They do this shit at the dealer. And if you're gonna go to the dealer, go ahead. It's all up to you. But you don't want to pinch it close to here. You just want to pinch this line. You don't want to do it too hard, just enough so it blocks the pathway so your fluid doesn't leak. It's either this or let the fluid out, and then you'll have a mess of air in the line. So we got this loose. What I want to do is, the reason why I put these two bolts in, before you even remove these, I want to show you one thing that you want to do because it's going to be very difficult to do it later on. Okay, so there's a bolt with the e-brake cable which is locked up in the bottom. So what you want to do is we're gonna go look from right over here. So I'm gonna take this 12 millimeter here and we're gonna look at that bolt right down here. You see this? Okay, it's better this way. See this guy? We're gonna go between the linkage and the sway bar, 12 millimeter, and you wanna turn it counterclockwise, which means I'm gonna be pushing this baby up. It is gonna be a tight bolt. Because like I said, if you take it off, the whole caliper after that, it's not going to come out that easy, okay? Just loosen this up, and after that, it should be much, much easy for you to remove this. And if you want to take it off completely right now, it's all up to you. Let's see if it comes out that easy. There you go. And that's how simple that is to do that. So, I'm going to leave this in. I'll take it off later. But now we can just start taking off the caliper and everything. And since I'm taking off this rotor, I want to assemble everything with the rotor off. That way it gives me much more clearance here. But if you're not doing that, it's just going to be a little bit tighter. Okay, so this is a 12 millimeter, which you're going to turn with your wrench. Take off both of these. Once both of these off, you're good to go. This caliper should just somehow, some way, pull it off. Leave it hanging there. Don't worry, the line's not going to get damaged. I got one of the brake pads already out, so ignore that. I only have one brake pad in there. Remember, I took this off prior to that. So I'm going to go get another tool. So we're reusing, these brake pads are going to be reused because they're brand new. Customer just want to put a rotor on, so I'm going to go easy to, I don't want to damage this pad. So I have a video on new shoes, good old dirty socks. So I call the rotors the socks. So now it's the other way around. You got smell in your shoes and you want to replace your socks. But anyway, there's two bolts in the back of this bracket. They're 17 millimeters. So what you want to do is two 17 millimeters from the back end. You want to turn them counterclockwise, which means I'm going to be going up from here on. And sometimes they're super tight, but my camera's on the way. Camera is blocking my view, so I'm going to try to give myself some little room to remove these two right here. Somehow, some way. Yeah, they're super tight. It's okay, that's how they are. So losing this, and there's one on the top of this bracket. And that baby comes off, and this bracket should just start to move any moment. So if you look back here, we got the two bolts on this bracket. This is one. And this is two up here. I wish my camera could go a little bit more in. There you go. I'm not sure if that's better or worse, but I got a place for the light. At least we'll have a good light. There you go. Much, much better. And This baby is out. There you go. Brackets out. Save the 2 bolts. There's 2 washers back here. Do not lose them. There's one here, and we're gonna come back out and we're gonna smack the water out. So I'm using this punch tool here. If you don't have that, it's okay. Just tap in back of this water to get the screw off. But usually, I got a video just on that. But if I got myself a tool, I'm gonna just use the tool. And these screws won't come out that easy, even though this baby came out that easy with the punch. But if you tap on it back, it'll vibrate and loosen itself up. And this guy comes right off. And what we're gonna do is, the water goes to garbage. Clean this baby out right here, so you're not gonna see me do that part, but make sure you clean this up with the wire brush, nice and clean, and some lubrication, and spray some brake cleaner there, and that should take care of that. The hub should be nice and lubricated and cleaned out. There you go, our caliper is sitting right there. So remember this bolt that we pre-loosened, so make sure we take this off. This guy comes off, and after that, what you want to do is you simply just want to pull this off, and the brake cable, the E cable, just comes out of it just like that. That's how easy that is. Leave that cable hanging there. Remember, we pinched the line already. I just want to confirm how tight it is so it doesn't leak on me. Nah, since I got both of my hands. Anyways, remember, I'm gonna put this little bucket in the bottom. Remember, we already loosened this guy up right here, and it shouldn't be that hard for us to take this off, because it's all gonna be hard now, because you have to hold this. If you got an impact, that's all up to you. But anyways, this guy comes out, you're gonna lose some fluid. You do need to bleed the brake lines on this baby, which is something that I do have a separate video on that stuff. You won't see none of that stuff in this video. But remember, this got a washer right there, this crush washer. So make sure your caliper comes with new washers. So I'm gonna just put this caliper away for now, and I'm gonna come back with a new caliper. Okay guys, I got my new caliper. Just want to pinpoint one thing to you guys. Once this caliper is on, this bleeder valve should be on the top end, okay? If it's in the bottom, you put the wrong caliper on the wrong side. Anyways, I want to remove this little guy. This one has a crush washer there too, so make sure you don't double up on your crush washer, because you only need 2. This guy does come with new hardware there. So what we're gonna do is just the way we took it off, we're gonna put this little guy on just right now. So make sure you don't twist it and turn it, but make sure you get it properly. And this guy, we're gonna put the bolt in right now. We're not gonna tighten it right now, just grab the threads on it, because it's nice and easy right now. And if you do want to tighten it now, it's all up to you, but you cannot leave none of this stuff loose. Okay, so there you go. This guy, and make sure you catch the threads, okay? You cannot be crooked on this little guy. So my 12mm wrench fell on the floor. So I'm gonna try to snug this, but I am gonna check it at the end. And there is a torque specs for everything, which I will give you guys at the end of the video. So right now this is just snugged in, and once this is in, I'm gonna just release my caliper. It's not gonna damage anything, it's okay. I'm gonna go get the new hardware for the brake line. So it comes with the new this special bolt. It has a hole right there, so brake fluid travels through it and hits inside. So one washer, crush washer, goes on the outer edge, and the other crush washer goes on the inner edge. So that's how it's like a little sandwich. And what you want to do now is make sure you have your caliper the proper way where it's supposed to be at, just like that. And we can put in this brake line, okay? Because you don't want to be putting it the wrong angle, and then once you try to put it on, and your line of the angle is all off and it's twisted and twirled, and you got to redo it. You don't want that. You'd rather just do it right the first time. And this guy is, it's gonna get a little greasy and not greasy, little slippery, because it's brake fluid. But try to catch the threads by hand first. If you need to use a rag, grab yourself a rag, which I left on the floor. I'm gonna go grab it. Using a rag will help you do this. There you go. And all I'm doing is turning this little guy. Once you catch about a good 2-3 threads, now you know it's safe to turn this guy. And remember, we use a 14 millimeter there. Now it has turned into 12 millimeter. And okay, so 11 millimeter. It's not even 12. So I gotta go get me 11 now. So remember, this bolt gotta be torqued, okay? Like I said, I will give you torque specs at the end of the video, but don't be fooled that I didn't show you how to tighten it. So, cause some things like that, I don't do in front of the camera. Some things like that are critical. Anyways, it's fully snugged. You shouldn't have any brake fluid leak. If you do have any brake fluid leak, make sure you wipe it down. You spray some brake cleaner and get rid of everything, okay? So when you're bleeding this, you also need to pay attention to this. Sometimes your washers won't be crushed properly. Sometimes there's dirt and debris in between. So if you see leaks here, no good, okay? Then you need to re-tighten it, take it apart, clean it up, redo it, okay? Anyways, that's enough said. So what I want to do is, since I said this video wasn't about the rotor, let me do the rotor part and come back, and then after that we'll finish up the job. Okay, got my rotor on. Nice tight, everything is shiny. And what we're gonna do is, remember, this bolt is still loose. The emergency cable break in the 12 millimeter is still loose. And make sure the two washers still there. And make sure you don't hit them and they don't fall. So in order for you to take these bolts off, you rather just put this caliper on and try to catch a couple of threads on these caliper bolts. And that will hold it for you. And then we can just simply remove it's 14 millimeters there, so you might have to straighten up on these to capture these. So I'm gonna catch these and I'm gonna come back. Okay, like I told you guys, it's gonna be nice and shiny. So what I want to do is, I got caliper bolts are in, they just still loose. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna remove this 14 millimeter here, and sometime it will turn, so you have to put a 17 millimeter in here. Sometimes the inside will turn, so put a 17 millimeter. You want to tighten it, you have to put it there. So at the end of the video, you're gonna get torque specs for all these, and this and the bleeder valve. And like I said, you're not gonna see me bleed it. It's gonna be off the camera, and I don't even know when I'm gonna do it, because one of my buddies he's gone for the Christmas vacation, but he'll be back. But anyways, I don't know when you guys are gonna see this. So I made a mistake there. So let's put this bolt back. The mistake I made here was I didn't loosen the top bolt, and when I try to take this off, the whole caliper is going to turn with it. So loosen them both and then take them off. Okay, you see how this was turning? Since it's a brand new caliper, you can hold it, but on an old caliper, it might be seized up. But these bolts will come off. And there you go. Those are off, and your caliper comes off. We still need to put a hardware kit in here, but I want to tighten the two bolts, and I'm going to come back. So tighten both of the two bolts on this caliper bracket and make sure they're nice and tight. And don't forget to see the torque specs at the end of the video. Okay, like I said, it's going to be all shiny. So hardware goes in. Make sure it doesn't hit the rotor. What I mean by hit the rotor is when you spin it, there should be no scrapes. I'll put that in, and I like to push it in with the flathead screwdriver. Just the center of it. So all I did was push against this little guy right there. It's hard to see, it's all shiny. So that will flush everything out and make it nice and snugged in. So same thing here, right in the center, right where the rotor is, right here in the center. I just push it in. When you spin this rotor, there should be no scrapes. This type of scrape, that means your hardware is not touching, nothing is crooked, nothing is bent. So the customer doesn't want any greasing. Shame on my brake job here. I like to put grease. So if you want to put grease, put some greasing here, put some greasing here, put some greasing here. So this customer is mechanically declined. So anyways, what the greasing will do is it will prevent vibration, movement. It would be slow. It would be attachment pretty much, and that's all it is. Okay, so we're pretty much almost done over here. So what you want to do is you want to make sure all your bolts are tight. So pay attention to, like I said, at the end of the video, you will. So this caliper, it has a square to it. The square notch needs to be perfectly straight in the center here. So the notch can sit onto this little guy right here in the brake pad. If you don't do that, it's not gonna work out. Your caliper's not gonna go on. But these calipers are a little bit out, okay? So maybe they're not all the way out. So what I wanna do is, I do have a video on that. I do use a tool, a special tool on these, but it's not required, okay? So this one is kind of stiff, and sometimes you could just turn it, but I can't turn it. So what I want to do is, I went and got myself a tool here, okay? This is the special tool, okay? This is how this goes. This goes into the notches there, and then you just tighten the center up, and we're gonna twist and turn this caliper till it snugs in. Okay, so I need a 14 millimeter from the for my tool to work on this guy, and we're gonna just turn it. So make sure you don't damage the brake lines or anything, and just turn to compress it, or bring it to the line, and make sure it's right in the center. Because if it's not in the center, your brake caliper is not gonna go into the brake pad. So it's not in the center. So what I want to do is, I'm gonna just turn it a little bit more. And we're gonna turn this a little bit more, and should be right in the center. There you go. And now the caliper should go, unless I need to compress a little bit more, but that's good enough right there. So put on the 2 bolts, and we're gonna put on the 2 bolts. Okay, I'm missing one piece. I need to go grab that piece. I'm gonna get that piece just about now. And this little retainer here goes onto these brake pads. It is important because it does open up the brake pads. So it usually goes on the bottom here, so the bottom can open up and release those brake pads for you. And that way it's not a lot of pressure on the opening end, the sliding part of the rotor, because this is what slides into the pads. And this goes in, and this baby goes in, and we're all set and done. So like I said, this is gonna probably twist with it. Make sure you catch the threads first, and then hold it, because you don't want to hold it and just smack it and then strip the bolt up. And what you want to do here is, where's our 14 millimeters? Back here. Okay, so 17 goes here, and this is a 14. And that's how you want to hold the center. If you don't hold the center, it's gonna just spin with it just like that. So hold the center, do this. So guys, I'm pretty much done here. I'm gonna do this a little bit off the camera. So tighten this to 2 17 millimeters of the bracket. Make sure you bleed, and make sure this is torqued to proper spec. Make sure it's not leaking. And while you're bleeding, make sure your vice grip is off the line. Make sure you tighten the 12 millimeter behind on the E cable. Anyways, job well done. Thank you for watching my video. Hopefully you guys finish up the job, and let me know. Send me a comment down below how it went. Bye-bye. Okay, so I did change calipers on both sides, and once you're done, you want to spray everything down. You're gonna notice I have an old line. This bolt is old. The reason is because the one that came with it, I don't know, for some reason it just kept on leaking. Okay, so once you're done, spray this down. It's gonna evaporate really quick, and this little guy goes on the tip. So you want to check for leaks here. Once this dries up, have somebody press the pedal while you're bleeding. So this is all bled up, no noise, no nothing, and our rotors are free. Should not be jammed up, because if they're jammed up, that means something is restricted or the e-brake is on. And same thing here, this is nice and free. So make sure everything is nice and tight. Spray some of this parts cleaner, that's fine. After that, you want to put this on the cap. Same thing here, check for leaks. Make sure your bolts are tight, all of them. 1 2 3 4 5 6 bolts that we played around with. So make sure they're all tight, it's bled and everything. There's no noises. Take it for a spin, and you're all done. Make sure your pedal is not soft, and I did bleed it. You see fluid on the floor. I do use a bucket, but I still had spilled everywhere. Anyway, thank you for watching my video, and I'm gonna give you the torque specs just about now. Okay, so the caliper, the bleeder valve, 7 foot-pound, 26 foot-pound. Okay, this is a bleeder valve, and 26 foot-pound for the line bolt, the hollow bolt, and okay, I don't have, how come there's no torque on this little guy? I just saw it earlier. Okay, that might be on a different picture. The 2 bolts for the caliper, 79.6 foot-pound, and these are the 17 millimeter bolts. The slider pins, I'm gonna have to find the other. There's another picture for the slider pin bolts. We'll get to that. And okay, it's right here. It's right here. It's a 17 foot-pound for that, and that's everything in here that I have. As for the parking brake, the 12 millimeter bolt is 16 foot-pound. So there you go. That's pretty much everything there. That sums it up, and hopefully you guys like the video.